It's showtime!
And welcome back, all you boils and ghouls and corpses crew, to another exciting episode of Habeas Corpses. And I am excited because I am officially now on winter break, and we have a very special guest and friend who's been on the show multiple times before with us here, visiting from the cold, wind,
Corn
flat,
infested.
infested lands. Welcome back to Utah, Alex.
Hello.
Alex is here on winter break too because we all, fortunately or unfortunately, work in education in some form or fashion. And so we all get a extended winter holiday, unlike other people.
Unlike everybody else, you losers.
Yeah, I would call them losers because we don't get paid for our winter break. Do you guys?
No.
Yeah, it's like it's contracted that it's terrible.
It's a good trade-off, though. I don't have to deal with stupid questions and shitty kids, so I'll take it.
Marcus, what kind of creamer did you use in this coffee?
Why? Did you not get enough?
Did you put the peppermint mocha one in?
No, I put the regular one in. I totally forgot. Sorry.
Restart the show.
Sorry, I can't do that. I'm going to have to go upstairs and...
I had one request.
Two, coffee was the first request. Otherwise, you just would have brought down creamer.
This is very true. Now, we watched a film that Alex had sent to me about a month ago, I want to say.
Yeah, give or take.
And I could not find it streaming anywhere except on pay-for-it platforms. And I'm like, I can't add another platform. But it was luckily streaming on Shudder, and it is Psycho Goreman. A fun sci-fi thriller. I took some notes. Alex took some notes. Lacey had too many dogs on her, so she didn't take any notes.
I also dozed off a couple times.
So is that your general opinion of this film?
No, I was full of Jimmy John's and warm. So I just kind of dozed off a few times. Anytime I woke up, I was like, what's happening now? Like it was...
I didn't even notice that you had fallen asleep.
Oh, yeah, there was a couple of times where I was like...
I got up twice during the film. Once to use the restroom real quick, and once that I totally missed a scene that Alex scolded me for getting up, and then we had to rewind it.
The character introduction, you can never really skip that. You know, in these kind of movies, that something awesome is going to happen, and I don't think that this really disappointed on that.
No.
A lot of fun.
It was good.
It was a lot of fun, and I didn't know how to, because we rewatched the trailer before we even watched the film while Lacey was munching down on Jimmy John's. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. Like, you made a very good comparison. What did you say? Power Rangers meets...
So it's all practical effects. You've never seen the film. It's basically a girl finds this gem kind of thing in her backyard, and it controls E.T., but E.T. is an intergalactic assassin murderer and
intergalactic terrorist.
And there's lots of costumes, and it reminded me a lot of like big Power Rangers kind of costumes meet something like a Doctor Who, the very practical, over the top, strange looking. You know, some of the costumes aren't necessarily meant to be horror costumes, but they still have that creepy kind of vibe to them. Yeah. And so very much like that. It's like E.T., Power Rangers, Doctor Who kind of feel to it.
Buffy.
Yeah, you mentioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
She's like, I'm going to mention this as many times as I can on this podcast because I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You know it, bitch.
Whoa. Shots fired. Thanks. Not jumping into the whole plot of the film yet, but I see where you're coming from on your comparison. I straight up was reminded of Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah, and the director had talked about that, a big push from 80s style practical effects. Lots of Star Wars references from what I was reading, as well as Terminator 2 kind of got him with that practical. and the plot being very simple. You know, those Terminator 80s movies tend to have very simple plots.
Yeah,
this is a very simple plot.
Exactly, and we have Mimi who's controlling Psycho Goreman in this with the amulet, and in Terminator 2 you have John Connor controlling the robot, and there's like similar things going on there with the whole. He's like, you need to smile. What is smiling? But in this, it was something else. I can't remember what they're doing, those compare and contrast, but very enjoyable. I had a lot of fun during the film. I didn't think I was going to like it at all when it first started. I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of Star Kid or...
You didn't think you were going to like it at all?
No, when it first started, I was like, oh, fuck, really?
I was like, I'm going to like
this. Yeah. And speaking of like those kind of tropes, one of the things that I did like, and I pointed this out when we were watching it, is, not only do we have a female, controlling Psycho Goreman instead of a male, but it's also the younger sibling, which I also liked. So it played with very simple tropes, but didn't just straight up use simple tropes. So I kind of like that choice.
That brother was a big old softy, wasn't he? With his little, at the end, with his little whiskers and cat nose.
Well, and if you notice,
his Peter Criss costume from Kiss.
And they do that because in the film you have the little sibling, the younger sibling, and the female who is more of the macho, don't take any shit, and the brother who's older is more of the reserved, I'm afraid of the world and I listen to everything she says. And they do that in the marriage as well. Yeah, the man is like I cook in the kitchen and I don't want to do anything to get my hands dirty, and the mom is definitely like I do all the stuff around here and you're a lazy piece of shit that I want to divorce.
Yeah. So one of the things that I noted in the movie, it starts with them playing a game called Crazy Ball, and it's a game that has way too many rules for anyone to really comprehend. Throw the balls at each other, spin around, do jumping jacks. Who knows? I was wondering if you guys had any weird games that you played when you were a kid.
Yes.
What is it?
It didn't really have rules, but we played it all the time.
Those are the best.
You're going to think it's weird. We would get on our trampoline and we would pretend that we were in a plane crash. Hold on. Hold on. Stay with me.
Well, it beats the dad story about getting into the back of a van with a creepy guy. I thought you were going to go into some other weird direction.
And then in our game, we would have to pick up imaginary objects for our survival.
What were your objects that you chose for your survival during the plane crash?
Well, after.
Because
we survived
most
the plane
people
crash.
don't survive plane crashes.
Well, we did. Okay. And usually I had my Dollar Tree amulet on. I shit you not, I had this little red, it looked like, do you remember the movie Under Wraps? Mm-mm. The Mummy movie? What? It was a Disney movie, and the mummy
Look, there's only room for one mummy movie. If it doesn't have Brendan Fraser in it, get it the fuck out of my life.
Well, the mummy had this little red necklace, and I got it at the Honks. Do you guys remember Honks?
Yeah, the dollar store.
I was like,
I think they're still around.
I was like, I feel like I live in a different time than you guys for sure. And anyway, so I had this little red necklace, and we would play this game, and I would wear that. In fact, I lost it playing that game in the yard somewhere, never to be found. And we would collect imaginary trees and rocks to build our imaginary home, and then we would collect imaginary things to eat on our trampoline.
Did you, well, you don't play video games, but you would definitely be like one of those people who played, what are those role-playing games?
RPGs? Role-playing game?
No, but in particular, there's one I'm thinking of. It's set in a wasteland.
You're talking about Fallout?
Yeah, Fallout. Making all this stuff.
I only play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Well...
Or as a child, Lego
Don't get
racers.
your hands on Fallout because I'm sure you would get just as addicted to it as you are with Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I'm on a break from Roller Coaster Tycoon because it was a little out of control for a minute.
My game we played as a child in childhood was always just that we always did night games. And one of the biggest night games we always did was the kick the can stuff. Very simple. Get to the can first.
What?
Don't look at me like I'm weird. You had an airplane crash game, survivalist.
It was fun.
You should redo that as a kid and have like a camera crew follow you. It'll
fun.
be like the new Alone.
We would even pretend we were like, whoa.
Well, in Kick the Can it's basically you have one person who controls. They have to stop you from kicking the can, and the rest of you go out and hide. And don't you like call out like, okay, come on, and then whoever kicks the can first is safe or something.
I never played Kick the Can, so
I gotta look at the rules now. It was something along those lines. Or we constantly were doing cops and robbers on our bikes. And those were the two big games we played as kids. But I do remember always playing that dodgeball in elementary school. And my class was the reason they stopped playing dodgeball because...
Like your year?
Yeah. One of the kids, and I know this lady, she's on my Facebook to this day, they had the ball, threw it at her, it hit her glasses and shattered the glass into her eye, and she lost her eye. So then she came back 6 months later to class and had a glass eye. Everyone's like, oh God. That was officially, we were done with dodgeball in the classroom. I think
a good fucking reason not to play dodgeball. I know we weren't allowed to play it. We also weren't allowed to slide on ice. And so I remember my friends and I would scoot around on the ice on our butts. We got in trouble for that too.
Yeah, you can't do anything fun in grade school anymore. They're like, no, there's too many lawsuits going around.
Yep. A parent will get mad.
Yeah.
That was a disgusting sound. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Alex's game.
Oh. So when we would do family gathering stuff at my grandmother's house, she has this bomb shelter basically in her basement, and it's a really long hallway. And so me and my cousins, we would go down there, turn the lights off, and why we would use the actual guns is beyond me, but we would take Nerf balls and Nerf darts in the dark and throw them at each other. And it was just something we loved doing, and we would spend hours. Why? Again, you have Nerf guns. You're not playing with the guns. Who cares about that? Because we have the balls, and we're just throwing the balls at each other in the dark. And it was...
Did you throw them at each other's nuts and then yell, I got you in the nuts?
No.
Who does that remind you of?
You?
No.
Do you not remember that?
You don't remember that when you were over here 2 Christmases ago and we were playing...
We had the Nerf gun fight?
Nerf guns.
Oh, okay.
And
joke was such an inside joke. Even I was on the outside.
I knew exactly what he was talking
we're in
about.
That guy's he did live here, and he.
And then I think he yelled to me that he hit me in the vagina or something, and I was like,
and I grabbed him towards the end of that. I was like, you shoot me on purpose there again, I'm gonna fucking bitch slap you.
And then you guys made out, and everything was okay.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And my
then
lip
he was
got
like,
shot,
will
and
you
it was really
stick a vacuum up my ass?
This episode's taking a weird turn.
Did you tell him I'm going to break you into a pile of bones?
What?
That was a line that Mimi used in the movie.
Yeah, she's going to...
Must have been while I was dozing.
Yeah, I'm going to break you into a pile. And she sits there and she's thinking about it. That's one thing I like about her character. She's almost making fun of herself during the film.
Yeah. And a lot of critiques I've heard from the movie, a lot of people didn't like the girl, and I thought I would hate her in the movie, and I didn't mind her at all. I thought she was very expressive in her face too, which was something that I liked. A lot of those old 90s bad schlocky movies, there's lots of this weird face acting shit going on. And it kind of reminded me of that, but it wasn't over the top. She had a very expressive face, which I really liked.
And just even her body, the way she would jump and move, very big. Yeah, she was a cute little actress.
Oh yeah, for sure. In this film, it's one of those the children, I know they're the stars, but they shine more. No one's acting in this is great by any means or any stretch, but the children do a lot better in their roles.
Did you see the fucking alien?
we'll get.
There were
to
lots of aliens in this movie.
Yeah, which
actually.
alien?
I did want to say, and I think it's part of the writing as well, and you brought this up, Greg, the guy who plays the father, he was awesome in this movie. And I think it was also the writing, because he was always subverting your expectations. You brought up the example near the end of the film. But everything he did, he was doing the exact opposite of what you thought he was going to do. And he sold it really, really well. And very dry. And it was in good contrast, because the movie's very visual and very silly. And his character was just so dry. I loved it.
Yeah, and you say the movie's very visual, and it's very visual in a pleasing way. Obviously, they didn't have a huge budget to work with, but the character designs themselves and whoever did the makeup on this did a really good job of making it goofy but believable on screen at the same time, to where it wasn't no thanks killing turkey, but it wasn't no CGI every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was very appreciative of that.
And Psycho Goreman actually really reminded me of a character while we were watching this. And if you guys have seen Jeepers Creepers,
Yes,
he reminded me of
that.
a creeper, like just without the hat and the trench coat.
Well, hold on.
Loved his Go-Gurt blood.
The hat.
Oh,
So
hang on.
okay, so we can get back into the idea of the movie. One thing that like kind of getting back in track is so she has the amulet. She can control everything that he does, and I thought it was a really interesting way for them to give exposition, where you always get characters like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" But she has the amulet, so you can say, "Who are you?" And then he has to tell her.
Yeah,
and I kind of like that was kind of an interesting way for him to hey, I was enslaved by these people, and then I found this amulet that gave me amazing powers, and then I took over all these planets, and then I got captured and sent here. And I actually thought, I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting way to do something that's very cheesy. And that's always the bane of bad movies, is telling and not necessarily showing through action.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought it does that, and that's kind of, but the visuals were great while they told the story, and the prompt was good. It just wasn't like some hero or villain diatribe.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that twist.
Exactly. And they do a good amount of like flashback scenes in this to explain his backstory.
Yeah.
And it's shot almost in like a comic book sense as well when they do them, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot more, and that's probably the only time I really didn't care for the effects, were in the flashback kind of scenes.
Where they kind of got very...
Yeah, there's, oh, this looks cheesy. Oh, this looks bad. Okay. I'm glad that this is very minimal. In my notes, a very niche reference is, he reminded me a lot of the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past from the future in Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where you just go on these long diatribes of what used to be. And I was like, oh, please stop doing it. But then eventually, I think maybe realized, but whatever, he'd start to bring it up, and Mimi would cut him off because they were also bored by it. So that kind of self-awareness thing I really liked.
Yeah. The turning point of the film to me is, you understand that she's controlling him. She's having a hell of a fun time. And then we learn about these characters, the Templars, who very much resemble, like, to me, like an ultra religious, secretive type group of race.
I feel like the Templars were also just in Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, like the characters themselves?
No, like there was a group called that.
I was like, what?
See, but in my notes, I put that they look like Con Maker from the new Doom game. I don't know if you played that or not, but
played that, yeah.
It's like, oh, that's all I can think of is this. And another really weird reference, because she says, "Bring me a human so I can, I guess, eventually become a human." She takes the shape of somebody else, and she puts her in this. They just poof a human onto their planet or their council. She puts them in a box, and made me think of the original Dune that David Lynch directed, and their shields were made of those same boxes. And I don't think that was intentional, but just got a huge laugh out of me. Unintentional, I'm sure. But
yeah, and she basically has to return to Earth to take on Psycho Goreman, so he doesn't rain chaos and destruction across
No.
the universe is what he wants to do.
No, don't you mean the Archduke of Nightmares?
I got
Is that what he calls
confused.
himself?
Or
Templars is from Tomb Raider.
or what about Dinosaurus Flex?
I didn't catch that one.
Dark Lord of Wonderful Smooches was another one.
I liked that one.
They were trying to come up with the names to call him. His name was the Archduke of Nightmares.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah.
While they were going
Yeah.
through this was after they find him.
Yeah, what is your name? And
And they're like, nope.
It-
Kind of like when a kid gets a new dog
yeah.
and they're like, that name's stupid. I don't want to call it
Psycho
Cookie.
Man, Goreman.
I want to
when
call
a
it
kid gets a new
Butthole
dog,
Sniffer.
You did that when we were naming Charlie, didn't you?
The second I saw his face, I picked his name. Remember, I was like, he
Oh,
looks
yeah,
like
because
Charlie.
Yep, from the...
And then I almost named him Gravy, and then I went back to Charlie. Thank God we didn't name him Gravy. Could you, Gravy, get over here? Or Kevin or something.
So the Templar comes down to Earth, and we get this...
Well, first, before she comes down, he uses... when the girl, because she can control him, she gives him magazines, and that's where you get the "I do not care for hunky boys" line.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
So he's going to bring the people who are under his servitude to Earth to kill this girl and her brother, and
He communicates
to the TV to bring them down, and that's where we start to get more of these amazing Power Rangers kind of fight scenes.
And also you're getting really cool character design. There wasn't a character I was disappointed with from the lame brain that
Alistair.
just slid around on the ground.
Psycho Goreman turns their friend into this creepy Krang kind of brain.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the dad. One of my favorite scenes is when the parents see Psycho Goreman in the backyard, and the mother comes out with a bat, hits Psycho Goreman, and the dad comes out and screams about her using his bat, doesn't think twice, and just jumps over Alistair, the brain. Doesn't say anything about him, just runs and jumps over him to grab his lucky bat.
Well, and I love that they do that in the film. Is the people around them don't acknowledge how crazy the characters are, except for Psycho Goreman. Everyone else is just like, oh yeah, this is normal. There's a brain there. The cops show up. They don't care about the brain sitting on the ground, but they're like, kill this thing. It resembles more of a human than this brain.
So they're trying to teach him about how to play crazy ball, because of course they are. It's kind of a running theme in the movie. And there's this montage of dress ups, and they eventually come out with him in an homage to Sam Neill in Jurassic Park. And I could not put my finger on who he was supposed to be dressed like. But it reminded me of old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoons, where if the turtles had to go out, they just wore hats and trench coats, and no one knew who the hell they were. Oh, nothing weird about this green person, clearly not wearing pants, but they got a coat on and a hat.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I thought they were going for, but then the cops show up. They don't care about Alistair the Brain. They only care about Psycho Goreman and his sunglasses that don't quite fit and his cute little red kerchief.
Yeah, and we
the older I get, the more I think that people would really probably pass on the little brain and just go straight to the weird looking man.
Yeah, and then this is my favorite part of the movie. He comes upon the two officers who are just ridiculous, and it says something like, "You guys are the defenders of this world. I expected more." And he grabs this
You didn't
cop.
even do your cute Psycho Goreman voice. I'm super upset. I've been waiting for that for the last 24 minutes.
I'll get it in there somehow.
Just do it right now.
No, because
all right.
now I'm on
Pressure.
the pressure's there. But he literally like tentacles into his skin and melts him, and he turns into this almost like the Thing. Have you seen The Thing?
Like his skin becomes melted almost.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa.
And it's clearly, and it's the
I
same.
thought he reminded me of like a melted Mac and Me dad.
Yeah, there you go. The way he walks. Yeah, exactly. And you were saying that
he made a short film called BioCop, and it's the same actor, same costume. I think the cop in BioCop could talk and would just say things like, "Please kill me," or something along those lines. This guy didn't talk. He just made weird sounds and tried to kill himself. He reminded me of Putties from Power Rangers, just with the extreme limb movements. Jerky motions.
I really liked him. I'm going to make you a Valentine this year that says, please kill me in blood.
It's not him. It's not the officer that says that. The guy that's like, please kill me, is the one that he's frozen in his constant torment.
No, in BioCop. I'm saying that was the line in BioCop.
Got you.
And what I like is this came before probably the one thing I hated the most in the movie, which was the montage. The montage was fun, but it started off with the kid playing guitar, and he's just doing that thing where he moves his hands up and down, and the note doesn't change. And it seemed very hokey and cheesy. I don't get, like, they were in a band, and you have Alistair the Brain playing pianos, and Psycho Goreman sitting on the drums. And I was wondering when that would come back into the movie, but it was never. There's one point where Mimi says, "You're not in the band anymore" to her brother. But
you're out of the band.
I was hoping that it would come back in some, really strange way. Like maybe because he's on drums, he'd have to do something with rhythm, but nothing really came of it. Yeah, and it was like, oh, this hits all my pet peeves.
I liked it because it made it a Christmas movie because there was like Christmas lights and a tree and stuff.
Yeah, that's where we got the montage of him coming out in all sorts of different costumes. So I did like that part, but yeah, it's just like, oh, so many pet peeves being struck in one. Okay, it'll redeem itself, and then it never did. There were other lines that would come back, like Frigg came back. Crazy Ball came back. People are the real monsters, which is what the dad tells the son at the beginning of the movie. That comes back. The band stuff
never comes back.
Yeah.
What the people are the real monsters.
When the mom was like, oh my God, you idiot.
Yeah. So after we figure out that the Templars come down, we get that epic fight scene in the forest.
Right. And that's the Rich Evans cameo. That was the whole reason I'd heard of this movie. I've talked about Red Letter Media a lot, and I'm sure people who hear this probably know what that show is. He was the bucket with guts and stuff inside of it, and it would just spray blood and laugh hysterically. It was the perfect cameo.
Yeah, you made a reference to Guar, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, it's very Guar.
Yeah,
very Guar.
But obviously, this is where kind of you get a little bit of a change in our characters, because you got Mimi, who's like, this is my almost like plaything, my play bully that I get to screw around with. And then she learns, oh, he actually will have me killed at any time. He doesn't care about me at all. And he kind of shows his true colors. And the brother's like, yeah. He's getting his ass totally kicked by our group of
the five.
Yeah.
His
evil
former loyal subjects.
Loyal subject.
Yeah.
We take turns being the king or whatever.
Yeah.
And the witch queen.
Yeah, the witch queen.
That costume is genuinely very creepy and unsettling.
Yeah, I was like, how can I make that?
Yeah, the oversized hood with the tiny face. That one was really well done. And there were some costumes that didn't really work. For me, the robot from the year 3000, whatever. That one.
Oh yeah.
Didn't really do anything.
That was the one with the robot on the shoulder, the parrot.
Yeah, that one really, because he would talk and he could see the jaw moving, but the lips didn't.
I did like his death though, where it just rips off and there's these like just eyeballs.
Yeah, I did catch that one briefly before I dozed off again.
Yeah, and this is where
Queen of the Sleeps.
And that's because when the plan is revealed that Psycho Goreman brought them down to kill the child because she still has control, and they turn on Psycho Goreman, she says, hey, don't fight back. And so he can't fight back.
Yeah, and
he has to apologize.
Yeah, and it kind of shows like two ways of like betrayal. She gets betrayed by him, showing, oh, he'll kill me at any time. And then he gets betrayed by his own little gang of followers. And then they kind of have a make-up moment of like understanding, okay. And then that's when we really figure out that these Templars who are after him may not be the best people either, because they've been almost enslaving everyone who they deem not to be great and powerful as them.
Yeah, and then this is, again, the turning point where we actually also see Psycho Goreman's vulnerability. He ends up getting wounded and poisoned, and then that's when we have the great split up between we have Psycho Goreman being chased by the Templar. Then we have the split between Mimi and Luke, and then we have the split between the parents.
The parents, yeah.
And it all kind of happens in this really quick, just like one after the other, which was well paced. We didn't have anything drag out. It was just like boom, boom, boom. And
yeah, and we're also introduced to one of his cool. I want to compare it to Mortal Kombat when you finish a character, finish him,
Right.
and he does this wide open mouth.
Yeah, he says the
devouring.
greatest way. It's a great honor to be eaten as a warrior, a warrior's death.
No, not that way.
And the
Yeah.
people who do get the warrior's death hate it.
Yeah.
So who knows if that really is the warrior's death?
Yeah, no kidding. And then we go to the police station. Templar goes to the police station. Hey, looking for this man, and our one cop who survives, like, I know where he's at.
Yeah.
But then we've had this fraction between all the characters at this time. So now we have the mother, Luke, and the Templar. I can't remember the Templars.
Pandora.
Is it Pandora?
Yep.
They team up, and then we get Mimi, her father, and PG that team up, and we have this epic showdown in
The old shoe factory.
Old shoe
shoe
factory.
factory. But before we get to it, we get this whole kind of like, do I want to give him back his amulet to protect him, or do I not? And the scene was kind of awkward, and it seemed a little forced, but it did make me laugh. She goes into this side, her office is what she calls it,
Yeah.
and approaches this crucifix and starts like asking for advice. And then it's like on shades, like sunglasses that she wants you to buy.
What sunglasses
She's just
are-
being a smart ass, is what
Yeah, just kind of
Just kidding. I'm wearing the zebra ones.
Yeah.
And this was after you could reference the scene with the father saying, "Let me tell you a story about adults." This one time I was at the park playing, and there was a man who asked me if I wanted to see his collection of baseball cards in the back of his van.
His big collection.
And I went with him to the back of the van, and he sure had the greatest collection of baseball cards I'd ever seen.
And it
So
was one of
sometime-
the best days of my life.
Sometimes you have to trust adults. Again, very good at subverting expectations. Very well delivered. And then we get the callback to, well, how do we settle who gets the amulet? And they play the game of Crazy Ball. And one of the things I wrote down that I absolutely loved is everyone was getting into it except Pandora, who ended up saying, this game is nonsense. And it's just like, thank you. Like, and obviously that's the point. That's the buildup. It's kind of the long game of that joke is this doesn't make any sense. And then we get that kind of payoff, which I really like.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because Psycho Goreman was like, Mimi chooses the contest. Because he was like, I won't die. This game is basically written so she can win every time.
What happens to the brain at that time? Because he plays.
The
He
brain
just
just
went
wanders
home.
off,
Wanders
remember?
off.
Yep. He goes home. And again, Mimi kisses him because she has a crush on
He's
him.
her
And
hunky
again,
boy.
it's
I'm going to start calling you that.
it's like no one notices, just the brain guy wandering off. And this is like it's just a big ass brain with the eyeballs in it.
It was
Doesn't
so
talk.
cute. And the tentacles.
Just wiggles. Yeah, it looked just like Krang.
It needs a Funko.
I'm going to make one. I'm going to sew one. Just you watch. I've got so many fucking googly eyes.
Yeah, no kidding. In the end of the film, we basically have the Templar who gets betrayed by her own tribe. Not her own tribe, but her own teammates, because they finally just, Luke and Mimi make up through this weird way of tapping
Yeah,
and
it's
song.
Like not even Morse code.
Yeah.
Code.
They're just like,
Yeah.
You just make fun of Marcus's haircut? Did I read that right? And his odd nipple placement. Okay.
I have perfect nipple placement, baby. Templar gets eaten, and Psycho Goreman lives up to his end of the bargain. He's going to, and he's now learned what love is. That's another pivotal point is, I know what love is now, and I'm going to use this to destroy the world.
Yes, I loved that.
Which is so true, because kind of love does kind of destroy the world a little bit.
okay.
And then I love that he
What?
just opens up a rift, walks through it, and then you just see him blowing up vehicles, buildings, the guy trying to escape into the van.
Yeah. And then we basically
As
end
usual.
with our brain having dinner with his parents as they're watching the news, and Psycho Goreman is just obliterating the planet. And they're just like, pass the carrots.
They don't say anything. They don't look at him weird. It just is.
And it was one of you guys pointed out that that's the girl that plays Pandora. It's just her actual character. So it's a highly enjoyable movie, well paced, doesn't slow down.
Mm-hmm. Super fun.
Yeah, it doesn't move too fast either, to where you're like lost in what's going on, but you're not also.
And I'm telling you, if you're like me and you fall asleep through literally anything, anytime I woke up, it was still enjoyable.
You knew where you were at. right in there.
I wasn't like, what the fuck?
Well, who's your favorite character to the film? Because you had not necessarily character, but like character design. Like mine, I got to go with the Brain. I just love the simplicity of him, and he worked. Like he was so odd on screen, but fit in too.
Probably the witch.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Genuinely very interesting, very creepy. The most cartoony one I loved on the council, they had the Brain in the robot body.
I loved that one.
Just a weird character, didn't say anything, very wiggly.
Yeah.
But very fun kind of character.
And that one animated too. In a very
it gave me that 19. We talked
like
about
at the end where he's like,
yeah, who wants to go first? And there's suicide pact. So a lot of them were more of like a modern Doctor Who's when it gave me that vibe up. That one gave me the old 1970s Baker era Doctor Who vibes. Just very cornball.
Oh yeah. It was.
Yeah, I'm seriously like sitting here like, I think if I got some fabric and I double layered it and put chicken wire in it, I could make a giant fucking coat.
Coat?
Like a robe.
The
what?
Like the witch.
Oh, for the witch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He looks at me like I just pulled the weirdest
I was
statement
thinking
out.
of the Brain initially.
That's what I thought you were saying too.
Because you had talked about making the brain a few times.
No, I want to like.
You want to make the witch.
I want to like sew the little brain
Yeah.
and make like a cute little brain, and he can sit in here. No, I want to make like a witch costume.
But every one of the most every one of the costumes in the film are really fun to look at and enjoyable. The music was one thing
I'm
I
waiting
also
for you to
enjoyed
mention
too.
that.
The music was good. The sound design on the film, though, that's the only part that kind of got me, because you mentioned it early off in the film. There's a lot of lows, and at times it makes it very hard to understand what the characters are saying, because they'll be a very low undertone.
Mostly Gorman.
Yeah.
Because they have lots of vocal effects going on.
Yeah. Especially in the beginning. I think that kind of fades, or you get used to it.
Yeah.
One of the two. But
Is there ice in one of your drinks?
Would be mine.
it's ice water.
Oh, I was like, did you not put my coffee cubes in there and you gave him coffee cubes? And I didn't get peppermint mocha? What the fuck?
So what are you doing to enjoy the rest of your holiday here in Utah, besides enjoying the gross air?
Enjoying the gross air.
Yeah. Does that ever get you when you come back here? Because you're used to...
Yes, I thought I had a sinus infection already this morning. I'm prone to sinus infections, and I've already had a migraine since I've been here.
Yep. It's amazing. Like people... And when we went up to even South Dakota for what, a week?
Yeah.
And upon our return, you just dropped down into this inversion.
That was my
and it's
experience
just
coming
nasty.
home on Monday.
Oh, yeah, because you were just in Evanston.
And then I
That's
was
right.
joking with them. I was like, wow, my nose hurts so bad because the air is so fresh. Like, it burns my nostrils.
Yeah, luckily we have a storm, and we're probably going to have a white Christmas, is what they're saying. That's going to blow all that nasty yuck out. But, oh, God, I had the same thing. I woke up this morning with a migraine.
I thought I was sick
I had
today.
I did too.
Yeah.
I straight up was like, I think I got the fucking Rona.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, no, wait, I live in a cesspool of toxic air.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, literally, and people don't understand.
The eternal bog of stench.
Yeah, people don't understand that live outside of Utah how bad it actually gets. Like, it gets worse than LA bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's the picturesque of bad air, is like LA and China.
Nope,
But there
it's
are
here.
times Utah has worse air than
Multiple
anywhere
times
in the world.
A year.
And it's like, oh. and we live in the most polluted city in Utah.
We should have bought one of those air purifiers for our own
Probably.
fucking house today.
We're gonna end up looking like one of these characters off of Psycho Goreman.
Probably the Bucket Man.
Yeah. No
Left
joke.
Mr. Bucket.
Oh, well, is there anything else you guys want to touch on this episode? Anything you got on your minds for the holidays? Did you get anything cool for gifts from anybody? No? I got Lacey something under the tree up there.
And you're taking me on the Polar Express. I did get a really cool gift from Gabby. It was very, very thoughtful.
Oh, you got that candle, right?
Yeah, but she also fucking bought me a nice book.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That candle that you made.
I think the only gift I've gotten is I got gifted jazz tickets. So I went to a jazz game.
Oh, you did. I did see that. Did you enjoy it?
It's all right.
Did they win?
Of course not. I was there.
Is that what happens? You walk into the arena and the team loses?
Pretty much.
Well, my book is really cute. It talks about learning how to embroider, but also magical self-empowerment. That's why it was thoughtful.
We talked about this on the last episode, but I'm curious if you have one. If you ever got like a horrible Christmas gift from anyone?
Yes. Oh,
Let's
tons.
okay, if you got tons, let's hear a couple.
Horrible gifts. So I'm known for giving very meaningful, very thoughtful gifts, especially to significant others. And,
As you wink at Marcus.
and there was someone who I dated, and I spent all this time, like doing all this great stuff for them, getting me all these things. And they just got me a bunch of DVDs, and It's Always Sunny, which is great, but that was when, at the time, it was on Netflix, and we had just watched all of them.
Oh.
So like, these are for you, because you don't have them. I'm like, well, we just literally just watched all of these. I guess that's very nice. I don't think I'm ever gonna touch
Them again.
these again, but that was nice of you. I once had somebody get me property on Mars as a gift, thinking it was supposed to be very romantic, and I didn't get why.
Like they bought like actual.
Supposedly, it's on a piece of paper from the Star Council.
The Star
Well,
Council.
it's because you like space so much. I'm like, well, I like stars a lot.
So you should have got me
A
like
nebula.
a telescope or something of that nature.
Or if you were going to buy a
book
part
on
of
the universe.
space, you can like
Yeah.
adopt a star.
And the thing is with both of those, I genuinely feel like they tried. It's like heart's in the right place. They just
missed the mark.
Missed the mark, right? The worst I ever got. It's not a Christmas present. It was a birthday present where they forgot my birthday. So the day after my birthday, they basically did the stop at the gas station and
shit.
buy you stuff. They bought me 2 joke books and a Mad Lib book.
You should
they
have
gave it to
started
me.
with that.
Day late. We start low, go high. A day late, and they said, and we're also going to do dinner. I said, oh, okay. What do you want to do for dinner? That's not how this works. Like, that's not.
You forgot my birthday.
Yeah.
You take me on the nice
like
date.
you
You
could've-
plan it.
Yeah, it's like you could have made something. You got something planned, but just say, yeah, where do you want to go? Oh,
Well,
Right.
at least for the one you got a DVD series you actually liked.
Yeah.
I got a movie that I absolutely hate once.
And every year, I spend every year trying to make it up to you. I think I did okay this year.
Tomatoes. They'll eat
I
you.
remember that story. That's good.
She's like, you talk about this all the time. Yeah, how much I hate it.
Again, my heart was in the right place.
You know what, though? I feel so bad because when I opened it up, I could see in her face that she was so excited, like, ooh. And then I like looked at her like, what the fuck? And just, it was like, oh.
See, for me, what's worse is when you get because I can remember the best gift I've given someone, and that's a good question for you guys too. And then I'm like, what did she get me? And whatever she gave me was so unremarkable, I can't remember it. So I'm like, I got you like one of my favorite things. I shared this with everybody. What did you get in return? Shit, if I know.
Oh, yeah. Best gift you ever got me personally was the trip to California.
Yeah, I don't think I feel like I really presented it very well.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Hunt.
That was after that was
ended in California. You go to California.
that was the Christmas after.
I
Attack of the
fucking
Killer
made up for
Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, okay? I fucking made up for it.
And what was on the hotel bed? A can of tomatoes.
That would have been funny.
She's like, we're going to the convention of Attack of Killer Tomatoes. It's sponsored by Heinz. Except that does have one of my favorite scenes out of any movie. Like, hands down, the tomato disguise scene is hilarious.
That is very funny.
Would you pass the ketchup? And all the tomatoes, what? He's like, oh, fuck. Oh, God. What about you?
Charlie.
Was that my best gift to you, was Charlie?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
He's the gift that keeps on giving.
That was a gift I made her go get on her own, though. Like, I found Charlie online. I had communicated with the lady, but I was very apprehensive. I was like,
Marcus
a
is not
fourth
impulsive
dog.
as
like,
I am.
Yeah, I don't know about this. Don't know. And so I was like, I found your gift. I already have the money for it, but you got to go get him because if I go get him, I'll end up leaving him there. I'll talk myself out of it somehow. So you were like, I'm on it. And the next morning, and I was like, now, if you don't want to get him, you just come right back with that money, okay? We'll do something
As
else
I
with
laughed
it.
out the door. You're funny.
Yeah, and like less than 15 minutes later, I got the dog on my way.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. He was more excited to see me than Gizmo and Vader yesterday. When I came home, they were like, "Hey."
He's a spunky little dog for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He has been a good addition to the family.
Yep.
100%.
I'm glad we didn't name him Gravy.
Yeah, I am very glad you didn't name him Gravy as well.
Glad I stuck with Charles B. Barkin that turned into Charlie Horse.
Well, on that note, I think y'all should have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're doing out there to celebrate. Be safe. Alex, you got to say something? No?
Just winking.
Are you gonna?
I am kind of upset we didn't get your Psycho Goreman
I was
voice.
just about to do it to tell her to shut up with that song, and now I can't do it.
Marcus. That's the best I can do. That wasn't very good. Sorry.
No, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I will.
Oh, you would ever. That's what you sounded like.
Fuck out of here. You guys all have a great night. I will destroy you and your whole family.
I'm glad you did that because I was gonna say you should put it at the end. You should like do it in post.
So while that's going, this would be annoying to listen to on the microphones.
It's dogs.
Sit down. It's extra fun content online.
Oh,
He didn't get it, did he?
I didn't.
It's still recording.
All right, you open yours first, Lacey.
Like I'm still wearing my headphones for no reason. And I'm still talking to the microphone for also no reason.
Oh, it's in a box.
This is not for you.
What the
It's
fuck?
wrapped in
Is one of these from? Okay, I was gonna say one of these better be from Moxie.
Let's see.
That's fucking awesome. That's badass. I'm gonna wear that tomorrow.
Well, I'm the unsolvable murderer. You keep saying you're gonna murder me. Do you see? I like that one. That's so evident.
Atta girl Moxie. Thank you.
Let's see what we got here, Vader. What is it? What do you think it is? What do you think it is? There's a bunch of paper for you.
You can get cute dog paper.
I
I'm
got
glad.
cool truck paper though. This is from Moxie.
Moxie got me this one.
Is this Marcus's gift opening hat?
It is. Can't open up gifts without my hat. Oh, Tarman socks! Hell yeah!
Return of the Living Dead.
I love that movie. Oh, that is awesome! Okay, that's badass. That shirt fucking rules. I love Creepy Co. And I was gonna have. I almost ordered this.
Never ordering from those guys ever again.
Why would they do?
It took 3 weeks to show up, and that was $16. Or to even ship, it was $16 shipping and handling alone for both of them. And they sent them in 2 packages. Like,
Creepy Co., you need to work on your fucking shipping.
I almost lost my mind.
That is a long time. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
And we got you a little Christmas card. That's it. I feel terrible.
We're bad gift givers.
It's okay. This is not a taxi coach.
And on that note, you guys have a good one.